Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Praveen Kaudlai. I'm one of the hemato-oncologists based in the UK. My area involves treating patients who become immune deficient and therefore to get all sorts of infections, including the viral diseases. When this new virus broke out beginning of this 2020, and actually got very curious to find out more about it. I started getting connected with the various researchers and research groups across the world, and I started writing also to disseminate those information to the general public. So it served two-way purpose, that I was getting myself updated and as well as to disseminate that to the general population. I've gone through all the research that has taken place from the virus point of view, from the drugs and therapeutics development point of view, and the vaccine point of view. And I want to convey through this video about the vaccines that are getting rolled out, whether we should have vaccines or not. Most of the people are having this dilemma, and especially in India today, the Oxford vaccine has been approved, and therefore I want to talk about the vaccines. Now going towards the vaccine topic, let us recall back when this virus broke out somewhere in January, February. Little did we know the mode of transmission and the impact it's going to have. And today we have about 18 lakh people died across the world from this virus, and in India about 1.49 lakh people have died from this virus. And India is in the phase of waning phase of the pandemic. Across the world, there is another threat that's coming with the mutant viruses that are spreading very fast, especially in parts of Africa and Britain. And it's likely that it has already reached India, and we can expect in the next couple of months for it to increase in its transmission and result in second wave. And given this background, it is very important to appreciate something to address this problem. Now, there are few myths or misconceptions that went around during the first wave, thinking that immunity-wise, Indians have a higher immunity and therefore they are not susceptible. On the other hand, across the globe, the Asian population, including the Indians, have been very much affected. And various papers have come through why it is so. I will not dwell into that. So that is not entirely true that we are immune to this virus infection. And moreover, it has been established who gets the severe disease, who gets escape from this. It's very difficult to know unless you're exposed to it. And it's a very dangerous preposition to get exposed should you develop severe infection and develop all the sequelae, including the death. And therefore, it's very important that we had something to prevent getting a severe infection. The research in this direction has not led any drugs in this direction, except for the steroids, which are known to reduce the mortality, but it doesn't prevent you from getting a severe infection. So that's where we are now, and we always anticipated something to prevent us developing a severe infection, and the vaccine was the only platform to look forward. The vaccine research has been taking place since the beginning of the pandemic. Ever since the viral structure was let known, within 45 days, the first trials started rolling out in America. The mRNA vaccines, which have successfully come out now. In America itself, about 20 lakh people have been vaccinated. In the UK, about 8 lakh people have been vaccinated. So this mRNA works on the principle of delivering the genetic message packed in a little bit of fat pockets, and that instructs your body to construct the proteins what looks like the virus, but actually there are no virus particles there. So in other words, you're tricking the body to mount a response when actually there is no virus. And the trials done in the US with these two vaccines, the Pfizer and the Moderna, have established efficacies between 94 to 95%. And in the modern history, there hasn't been any drug or invention and the trial that has established so high figure, as high as 95% efficacy. The Oxford vaccine, which has been trialed across three continents in the UK, Brazil, and Africa, has demonstrated an efficacy between 60% to 80%, depending on whether you go with the published data from the trials or the government figure that was released yesterday in UK. Nevertheless, these are all very effective, and this is only big armamentarium we are having to fight against the pandemic at the moment. Now, as I believed, today the government of India has approved this vaccine. In the next coming days, the vaccines will be rolled out. Now, those of you having doubts whether to take this vaccine or not, and here is the message which comes out of robust data which I have gone through in detail, which have been published in reputed journals, which has been peer reviewed across the world. So don't have any doubts regarding the efficacy wise. In terms of safety, all that has been highlighted out of 70,000 people who were tried in the trial time, and subsequently now 28 lakh people who had the vaccine, people developing severe allergic reactions, that too very minority of them, and that can be screened effectively and dealt with. All you will be likely to expect would be having fever, a little bit of headaches and body aches that passes off within a day or two. In terms of efficacy, anything more than 50% efficacy is the ballpark which we're looking for, and we don't have to get engrossed with the minor details whether 60% is better or 95% vaccine is better. What is the key now is to mass vaccinate the population and to achieve a herd immunity, so that the vulnerable population, that is elderly and those who have comorbidities, and India being the world's capital of diabetes and having kidney problems and heart diseases sequelae to the diabetes, they are a big chunk of population, and they are there within the age group of 40 to 60 years, who also experience high numbers of mortality in the first wave, and they are the ones that need to be protected. The one category of patients who are not being included were people who are immunosuppressed, for example, the cancer patients and those who are in chemotherapy drugs. Whether it really works, probably the benefit may not be as good as in general population, but it is still recommended to have it. The pregnant women, they were excluded, and children less than 16 years, these trials excluded. And subsequently, there will be trials targeting the children in years to come. Perhaps we'll know whether these vaccines are safer in that population. Now, talking about the elderly population, again, the Oxford vaccine trial didn't include that many people age above 65 years. And therefore, it is difficult to speculate how effective it will be. But we have evidence from the mRNA vaccines where it has established quite an effective efficacy in that age population, and that is where now the emphasis being in vaccination programs to vaccinate as many elderly population as possible. So as the government is making all the preparations for the rollout, please be clear that the licensing authorities across the world have taken due attention to all the details, and it is all in the public domain. And a person like me, who is not associated with any pharmaceutical companies or drug manufacturers, have independently gone through all the available scientific literature available, and I can vouch that as much care has been taken from the development of the vaccines to the rollout. So it is up to us to extend our arms and get vaccinated in big numbers, so that the herd immunity is reached fast, so that we all can come out of this pandemic, which has destroyed economies, societies, and individuals. It's time for us to come together and put a full stop to this pandemic. Thank you.